Good morning and welcome to the 20th year of Trekzone. From humble beginnings, we've grown. What was a high school project has become the biggest hobby I could have imagined. Over the next 4 hours, we're going to celebrate Australia's first science, space and science fiction podcast network, flash back to what was and bring you everything that is. But of course, none of that can happen without first rolling the opener and getting today's proceedings started.
Beaming live around the world on Trekzone TV. It's our 20th anniversary celebration. First this morning, we look back at where it all began.
Well, in the very beginning, Trekzone was a Year 10 IT project. Design a website about something you love and submit it for a grade. It was all about HTML and CSS. Trekzone then grew to a simple group of pages on GeoCities, going by the name of Starbase 211. On July 10, 2003, Trekzone.org was born. Drifting between temporary pages and the same group of standby pages with no real direction. I'm reminded of countless hours on the Trek United Australia forum, Starfleet Mum, Croc of Lestock and so many others. Ideas bandied around there would go on to formulate Trekzone. Fast forward to 2004 and the beginning of my career in Australian television. Over the next 3 years, I would learn the various tools of the trade, especially how to make a quality product with a very small budget. I can't tell you the evolution to video podcasting without first touching on my television career, which taught me the lessons of cheap but quality production. In the beginning, the crew consisted of a good friend and my family. Together we produced Australia Day 2005 and 2006, a look at the air display over Perth during Australia Day. During 2006, I met Fred and Adrian from The Couch, plus Liam, who's gone on to be a very close friend. And with their help, Countdown 31 was created, a music clip show counting us down to the new year, which in the first couple actually finished at 11 p.m. In 2007, I continued to learn and worked on various productions. One of the biggest I undertook happened during that year. Wake Up WA, a 1-hour live and local breakfast show. I helped grow the news department and we somehow managed to create 2 updates daily with moving pictures from the 9 News bulletin of the night before. They were crazy hours, but with a good crew, it was the best time. To round out the year, Countdown 31 returned with a 2-hour special with the help of the public access station, Access 31. We actually welcomed in the new year this time, and it was during this year that the basic idea for Eternal Night was formulated. At that stage though, it was just a desire to create a short film. 2008 saw my first interstate move. It lasted 4 months in the last quarter of the year, but it caused me to be away for the demise of Access 31, which was put through receivership and was officially declared dead on August 6 of that year. Flash forward to the middle of 2011 and with a good job at what would become Paramount Australia, I decided it was high time to get cracking on that short film idea before I hit 30. Writing began, ideas came and went, and eventually, while the video production of the series as enhanced audio didn't make it past 4 episodes, the scripts for the 10-episode run are available on Trekzone. 2013 rolls around, and with the ability to use a green screen, Skype and video editing software, we began podcasting. First to celebrate 10 years of Trekzone, then a few in 2014 and 2015. 2016 saw a more concerted effort, but with Dad's passing, I needed to focus on family. 2017 was a rebuild of sorts ahead of a massive 2018 where we produced Once More with Feeling. Trekzone's only Star Trek fan film, with Aaron Vanderklay as my first assistant director and Liam as a DOP. The fan film was a mix of proof of concept and semi-polished visual effects from Samuel Cockings. It's been well received with over 28,000 views in 5 years. 2019 saw the beginning of Talkin' Science, a way of expanding the podcast offering and continuing the mission of following my passion. 2020 and COVID came along, yet podcasting intensified. 2021 with 350 podcasts, 7 days a week pretty much. Even with that incredibly lofty goal that year, I would embrace Trekzone Media as a full-time business, leaving Paramount behind. 2022 and we continued the schedule 5 days a week, getting to know the key players in the Australian space industry, developing professional relationships and attending Australian first rocket launch attempts. In 2022, I also launched Fan Film Update and continued Sci-Fi News. Talking Science moved on from Dr. Brad co-hosting and kept an eye on the latest astronomical findings. And of course, the very first Trekzone Fan Film Awards that managed to generate a bit of buzz. This year started with 8 weeks on the road where I managed to podcast with a bit more of a consistent look with thanks to this virtual set. Chuck over at Mentioning Trekkie Mentions continued his work in the background on the 2023 Trekzone Fan Film Awards, and we were invited to the premier Australian Space Forum and received preview screeners for Picard's Season 3 and Strange New Worlds Season 2. Which pretty much brings us to here. Hundreds of hours of pre-production for this live stream, and its major drawcard were never going to be interrupted by anything nature or life could throw at it. So it is, without further ado, that I say thanks for beaming in to this special edition live on Trekzone TV. We will get it started very, very shortly. As a reminder of our socials, continue there. Don't forget to like, follow and subscribe to us. Looking forward to the next 4 hours. It's going to be absolutely exciting. Michael, our director, let's get this party started. Well, there we are. That is how we are celebrating 20 years of Trekzone. Over the week, going to be releasing each of these chats and the Fan Film Awards as separate editions, so you can catch up on those on replay. If you are watching us live now and you've missed anything, you can use the DVR function in Trekzone TV to catch up. Go back and check that all out. YouTube only gives me about 12 hours, so you can catch up on it through to about 7:30 tonight. So do that if you are watching us now. Trekzone TV is just flowing around, 1,080 episodes, so it's just on a constant loop. It's just doing all sorts of different stuff. You can drop in and out as you please. And it also gives me an ability to stay live and bring you these sort of events. More of this sort of stuff coming up. Obviously, I am leaving the Star Trek fan film world behind. As I said to Lee earlier today, it really was a product of wanting to podcast more during the pandemic. Stuck at home, what else are we going to do but podcast from the home study. In 2021, 350 episodes, so really needed that content, and the content that delivered was Star Trek fan films. Unfortunately, that individual obviously didn't like that and did everything he could to try and sabotage my efforts, and people joined in on that and consider him more worthy than me for whatever reason. So we'll move on, we'll do other things because there are other things in life to look at, and we can do all of that. As I said, we get embargoed media releases from Australia's Science Agency, so we can talk about science and space a little bit more. Rocket launches are coming up in Australia, Southern Launch, Gilmore Space, Equatorial Launch Australia. 3 states, well 2 states and a territory in this great country are launching rockets and building launch facilities as well. I know Southern Launch is gearing up for some more in the next 12 months. We'll be heading back to Whalers Way and Port Lincoln and checking those out. Bringing you more live coverage on Trekzone TV. Got a feel for how that's working now. Trekzone TV in the beginning was down there at Port Lincoln, and will continue to be there for those rocket launches. It was disappointing that they didn't launch those rockets in December. Wasn't their fault. All the launch facilities were ready to go, but it is rocket science, as Dr. Brad used to say, and it is hard, especially for a burgeoning industry to get started. So AT Space have taken those rockets away, those Kestrel 1 rockets, and they've studied them, and they're gearing up for launch once again. So looking forward to checking in with them and seeing the progress on those rockets. We of course have Gilmore Space here on the Gold Coast in Queensland. I have been meaning to get down there and check out their rocket fabrication facility on the Gold Coast, so we should definitely do that as well now that we've got a need for more content here at Trekzone. We're not dying at all, by no stretch of the imagination. The Trekzone breakdown has been teased on Trekzone TV for a little while. That's coming up. It's going to be the episode reviews that were written on Trekzone.org, and now they're going to be presented just like this. So we'll talk about those. They seem to be popular videos at the moment, website, so hopefully we can get in on some of that and ride that wave a little bit more. Break down the episodes. As Larry said, Larry's got his Second Opinion show on Saturdays. We'll kind of be doing something a little bit similar, but release it a little bit quicker and try and show you all the things that you might have missed in those episodes. Look out for the Trekzone breakdown. Trekzone Plays continues as well. The tagline was retro games, retro Star Trek games. Obviously that's morphed a little bit more now into being Star Trek. We have Resurgence. We have a new game coming in a couple of months. We've also got the Prodigy game as well, probably worthy of giving that a play with all of the Prodigy news that is happening at the moment, because it's all about the almighty algorithm. So playing Prodigy is probably what's next once we wrap up Resurgence, which was a few weeks away from finishing up, getting really deep into that story now. It's great to have a dialogue-driven game back. We didn't really have one at all, save for maybe Starfleet Academy or something like that, but great to actually have this narrative-driven story, and the guys at Dramatic Labs have done a fantastic job in putting that together. Sure, there's some bugs, there's some issues that they're working through, but you know, that's what good story and good game doesn't have a few of those. And you work through them and you get them done. So be on the lookout for those. Find our playlist of Trekzone Plays Star Trek Resurgence. Look at that. I think we're up to episode 8. Episode 9 will be coming up this week now that we're through this 20-year celebration. Lots of pre-production, lots of planning in this, so it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic to have a crew on board as well. Don't always get that. We're just in the study here at home. Now we're in the garage. We've just kind of, moved to the next room, but that's okay. We've got a couple of cameras here. We're doing some great stuff and having the crew on board as well. Michael and Andrew, real world contacts that I made with Trekzone Media as that company grew. Fantastic supporters of me and this channel, and really striving to do the best work that we can. Had them down at the World Science Festival. That was fun. That was definite proof of what we can do in convention coverage. World Science Festival's a convention. We took Liam over to Supernova in Sydney a few weeks ago and met Michelle Gomez, Jim Cummings, Tamura Morrison as well. So that was fun. More of that sort of stuff is coming up. Vegas coming up again in August. Did manage to fly out last year, but the great thing is there are camera operators around the world looking for work. So that's exactly what I did last year. I found a camera operator in Vegas and I got him a press pass into the convention, and he walked around the floor and set up interviews while we were back here in the studio. A little bit easier, especially with COVID still lingering around. A little bit safer, a little bit easier than all the logistics of organising travel as well. But the 2019 trip, the Vegas or Bust tour, I think that definitely needs to come back again. Maybe next year, maybe for the cruise. Depends where I can get a media pass. Be on the lookout for that. We'll certainly be doing more stuff from the Star Trek universe and moving beyond those fan films, doing more science, doing more Star Trek and more science fiction as well. We've got Star Wars, we've got Lee Sargent wanting to come back and get Talkin' Trek started again, so definitely get in touch with him later on this week and get that organised. We're going to be doing a whole heap more as well. Trek Geeks are doing wonderful things, 300 episodes. Dr. Trek's doing amazing things as well with all of his shows. He's got his set tours around Los Angeles, all those famous filming locations. There's some content right there. Tie that in with the trip to the States. So plenty of stuff to look forward to. We're not slowing down here. It might be the 20th birthday today, the 10th anniversary of starting podcasting, but it really has been one heck of an adventure. And since 2020, since that pandemic, really working on a way of producing more and more content and keeping that quality up as well. So I really appreciate all of that. I appreciate Chuck at Mentioning Trekkie Mentions for all of his pre-production work, all the stuff that we had to get through to get those awards to air this morning. It's just amazing that you spend all that time on it, and in just 40 minutes it's all done and dusted, and already receiving, the phone is blowing up in my pocket, receiving lots of messages of support and thanks as well. 359 with 5 award wins, which is fantastic. Didn't win every category they were in, and we did that because there are plenty out there, 59 films on our list, so we wanted to recognise as many people as we could, if indeed it is the last time I celebrate Star Trek fan films. So thank you very much to all of that. To Keely and Georgia as well, running the graphics. It's been awesome. Again, having a crew, having a control room. We don't always get that here at Trekzone, so when we do, It's fantastic. It's a little bit nerve-wracking a little bit for me because I usually have everything here ready to go and I'm a one-man operation. So it is great to have the control room. It makes it seem a little bit more real, a little bit more official. That's probably enough waffling for me. We're getting out early, but that's okay. We had a couple of things fall through with Talk and Science. Always the way we're trying to bring in guests and making news. Especially on a Monday morning, you don't have a chance to catch up with people, but plenty of stuff still to come. We'll check in with Southern Launch. We'll check in. There is actually some gravitational wave news as well that the CSIRO has sent us. So I'll get onto that. We'll get some more people onto the show. We'll get Talk and Science interviews back and happening. We'll get back into more of a regular schedule as well. Don't forget the membership. That is available. Sign up on YouTube. $3.99 a month. Less than a cup of coffee a month supports the channel. A little bit more. I think it's the $15 tier will give you access into all the pre-production for your protection, our next series as well. Haven't talked about that in my ramblings, so that's coming up as well. But do that supporting if you can. That is appreciated. We've also got the PayPal if you want to do a direct contribution. I know a couple of people have done that over the last couple of weeks, so that's fantastic. Social media as well, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, that new app as well. We're on there. We'll start posting some content there very, very soon. All of these Trekzone conversations today and Talk and Science will be out separately throughout the week. And as always, I'll have the podcast highlights to come as well on the social channels. And on all of those, the Trek.zone link, that's where you can jump over and catch the full episode. So look out for all of that. Once again, appreciate everyone's support that has supported the channel over the last 10 years, supported the website over 20 years. A posthumous thanks to Dad for his credit card. That's where it all got started. I was 14. I didn't have a credit card, so Dad had to pay that original license fee for 2 years. So plenty of great stuff. I really appreciate everyone's support. And I'm getting the wrap up from the control room. It's time to have the wrap party. So thanks very much for watching 20 years of Trekzone. I'm going to take you back now to that randomizer on Trekzone TV. Michael, take us away.